Gothic Classic, a port of a 2001 game for Nintendo Switch. And today I'm going to explain to you what this game is. And together we are going to think whether this game is worth your time and money. Gothic is an RPG, but it's a very old-school RPG. You probably haven't even heard of it. But for example, the creators of Starfield, Skyrim and Fallout, Bethesda Studios, have heard of it very well. Because during the release of the fourth part of the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, everyone thought about which game would be better, the third Gothic or Oblivion. Oblivion won, but only because the third part of the Gothic was terrible and couldn't stand any comparison not only with Oblivion, but also with the first two parts of Gothic. But today we're not talking about it. We're talking about the first part. Gothic is basically a survival simulator in a medieval prison with magic and magical creatures. You live in a world where orcs have attacked your kingdom and are killing all living creatures. Nothing can stop their army. But suddenly it turns out that on a remote island there is a mine where humans extract magical ore, from which they make weapons of incredible quality. And only this ore can help in the war. And since everyone is at work, there is no one to mine the ore. And the king comes up with a brilliant plan. Take all the criminals and send them to mine the ore, while all the soldiers are at the front. Great plan. But so that no one escapes, the king orders a magic dome to be cast over the mine that will let people in but not out. But the ore and all non-living things could be transported both ways. Of course, something went wrong, and the dome appeared not only over the mine but also over the surrounding areas. And even the mages who cast the dome were trapped inside it. You play as a nameless man who has been banished to the mine for some crimes. But before you start, a mage comes to you and says that you have to deliver an important letter to the mages under the dome, and you will get a reward for it. Then some guards push you under the dome. And since only the criminals living under the dome, the first thing you see when you open your eyes is the fist that punching you in the face. And so the adventure begins. This introduction and the period at once show you the main mood of the game. Nobody waited you here, nobody needs you, and you will be beaten by everyone and everything. After all, this is how criminals live. But not only them. I don't know about you, but when I was a kid at school, we had similar rules, only not as cruel. For example, to join one of the factions, which we will talk about later, you have to get the approval of a character. One way to do this is to go to another very powerful character and tell him, "Your mother is a whore, I f***ed your mouse, you son of the jackal with the small dick!" And then he'll beat you up. And then you'll finish the quest. Because the guy that gave you this quest will say that you're so crazy that he respects you now. And that's how it was for me in high school. Do something reckless and you get respect. I guess that's why I like this game so much. But let's not get distracted. After you get beaten in the beginning, a man will come up to you and say that if you want to survive here, you need to team up with someone, because you can't survive here alone. There are three camps to join: New, Old and Swamp. The Old camp is the main camp. It was the very first, and there sits the main boss of these lands, who took over the mine, forcing newcomers to work in the mine and trading ore with the outside world for various supplies. And there also live fire mages. The new camp is all those who didn't want to work under the rule of the first boss and left, creating a new camp. Actually, it is the same story, but they live in a huge cave, they have water mages, and they mine ore because they want to accumulate a huge amount of it. And then they blow it up, so the dome explodes. And the third camp is the swamp camp. There are religious fanatics who worship a sleeping god, use air magic and grow a drug to trade with other camps. You can join any of them, and each of them have different requirements for joining. For example, in the swamp camp you have to gain the respect of some cult masters, but this is not easy, because these masters never talk to newcomers, so you have to guess what you have to do for one or the other master. Locations are very different and vary in the appearance of nature, buildings and clothing. Each one has its own laws and rules, and you'll meet different characters there. And you'll have interacted with them a lot. The game has a typical RPG dialogue system of choosing lines, and the different characters have different attitudes towards the hero. And if you piss someone off, they can just stop talking to you, and then you have to figure out what to do and how to get out of the situation. And you will have to get out by your own, because the game doesn't lead you by the hand. For example, you came to the old camp and you were told to get the disposition of other warriors. So go and get it. Who they are, where they are, how to help them, get out as much as you can. Also, problems can usually be solved in different ways. For example, you have to kill a big troll. You can try to kill it by beating, but I would still advise you to shoot it with a bow from a hill. Or use a reduction spell that will reduce the troll to the size of the kitten and kill it with the one punch. The game will rarely give you hints how to complete different quests. You will have to guess how to do it by yourself. I will give you just one piece of advice. Carry bow and at least 10 arrows for the rest of the game. Always. You'll thank me for it. Anyway, the atmosphere is crazy, the characters are great and the quests are interesting. But what about the combat system? It was the main reason a lot of people gave up on the PC years ago. Now that I'm playing on the Switch, I see that the game was originally designed for the gamepad, which doesn't mean that the combat system has become easy. Look, when you enter the world you have no weapons, but after a few meters you find a pickaxe. So pick it up, equip it and don't go to an enemy. Stand still and wave it around to learn how to fight with it. There are 3 types of kicks in the game. Left, right and straight. But the point is that to do more than one punch, you need to press the punch button at the moment when the animation of the old one is over. Otherwise you will lose the combo and you will slow down, which will be used by your enemy. So stand for 2 minutes and learn how to at least side kicks. Right, left, right, left, right, left. And when you learn to keep the rhythm, then go on and meet your first enemy. Also in the game there are blocks and dodges. What is interesting, you have the level system and for each level you get 10 points of progress. When you find teachers you can pay them to either teach you a new skills or increase some characteristics. And if with the increase of characteristics, such as strength and dexterity all clear, with skills it's more interesting. Taking the first time in the hands of a one-handed sword, here we'll take it in both hands and we'll swing it very unskillfully, causing weak damage. But when the teacher teaches how to use the sword, we'll take the sword in one hand and our swings will be faster and more accurate. If we learn another level of one-handed weapons, then the stance with the sword and the combos themselves will change and become more deadly, and so on with each weapon. But that will happen when you level up, find some money, pay the teachers and just then you'll study. Until then you will suffer and die. Which is logical, because in the beginning your first enemies will be animals and you will try to go out with a stick against a wolf. And of course, most likely you'll be a little eaten. And don't try to escape from wild animals. Just like in real life, they're much faster than you and will always catch up with you. Unless you use a speed potion. If you run into people and lose, and you will lose, don't rush to restart the game. After all, you will most likely be left with 1 HP, after which the enemy will come to you and take everything from your pockets, but you'll stay alive. And the same goes for you. If you beat them, you won't kill them. They will fall unconscious and you can empty their pockets. But if you want to finally kill the enemy, you will have to approach the lion enemy and press attack. And only then the hero will kill another character. And again, it's logical. In the real world, people rarely kill each other. Even in prisons, more often they just beat each other up. By the way, fun fact, don't try to look any shields in the game. There are none of them. There is also magic in the game, but to learn it you have to do a lot of things. Because at first you won't be allowed to approach the mage even to say hello. And only then, when you increase your authority, you'll be allowed to approach them, but they won't teach you magic. You will also have to show them that you're worthy of it, and only then you'll be allowed to join the mages. However, once you have mastered magic, you will find that it is very weak. And this is logical, because you're an apprentice, and only by training magic further, through sweat and tears, you will really master magic. And after that, you'll be able to organize a real genocide of everyone and everything. By the way, magic kills instantly, so don't use it on the characters that you don't want to kill. And there is no map in the game. Well, there is one, but first of all you have to buy it. Secondly, it is drawn by hand and not really accurate. And thirdly, it is not complete because the cartographer only drew the areas he visited. Although the map here is small, the developers decided to make a small but elaborate map. So very soon you will learn all the secrets of the map under the dome. And that's not at all. There are many secrets in the game: orcs, necromancers, dungeons, abandoned mines, politics and fighting for territories and much more. So I really advise you to play Gothic. Believe me, if you can overcome the combat system, this game will give you a lot of pleasure. It is worth your money and time. And remember, no one can escape the doll.